Hi Capricorn, welcome to your mid-May 2021 General Tarot Update. It's Rena here. Well, first of all, I hear some kind of like hedge trimmer outside. Maybe you won't be able to hear it too much, but it's kind of distracting to me. I'm doing this reading all over again with a totally new spread because I think I might have erased it. My memory was getting full on my phone, and I think I don't know. I thought it was an old video. But anyway, that's fine. It's just that it was a long one and, you know, just kind of aggravating. The other thing, too, is there's a new moon on the 11th in Taurus, and this is the 5th house for Capricorn. This is a sign that trines you because you're both earth signs, and that is very good vibes. I mean, you really resonate with Taurus because it's earth energy, and that's what you're all about. But it also, the friendly angle it forms is from the 5th house, and that's a house of fun, pleasure, creativity, but love too. So if you're single, mingle, because that could be a time when you meet somebody new. So let's see here. I'm using the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. I'm trying to really get these cards separated so I'm not picking the same cards over and over again. It's funny because I also have to do a reading over again for your opposite sign, Cancer, and these themes are coming up again. The same themes. It's kind of interesting. Okay. So let's see here. So the heart of the matter is the 10 of Swords. This is one of those cards, the one right between the eyes, you know. It's, even if you don't know what the 10 of Swords means, you can kind of get a gist of this idea of someone just being, I was going to say attacked, but what it really means is this is a card of betrayal. But it's also a card of, you know, the hitting bottom in terms of like whatever thing has occurred is now being resolved, and now you're on the upswing from that situation. But the betrayal can still be in the memory, obviously, even if you're recovering from something. And so this can be a situation of someone who has, you know, if this is a marriage situation, was cheated on, just whatever betrayal means to you in a business partner, a workplace situation. And I think that Capricorn is a sign that kind of almost expects this sort of thing to occur because you're not an idealist, you're a realist. So it's not something that would necessarily just destroy a Capricorn to have somebody betray him or her, because you might say, well, you know, I knew that was going to happen. It was bound to happen. And so the real thing, though, is that this can point to some kind of ending, because the 10 can represent the end of a cycle. In the past position, we have the Hermit, and this, I love this depiction of the Hermit, so cute. But you see the light, and the light is meant to talk about the inner light. Now, but look at those lines on the Hermit's shell, and also the lines of the flame emanating, you know, in the back, or the light on back of the candle, or the bulb. It's just so neat how they do this. And the Hermit represents seeking the soul. What's the term? Soul searching, which we do with ourselves when we're in a place of having to make sense of something. And we're not just making sense of it just intellectually, but bringing it into the larger context of what is happening in our lives as a whole. Like, what is really going on here? And you know, I think of Capricorn individuals as kind of hermits in a sense. I think that you guys are pretty solitary, even if you know, socialize and do those kinds of things. I do think that you have that part of yourself that is like that anyway. And you're one of the winter signs. You're the last earth sign. So there is that sense of wisdom that is culminating or has gathered being a Capricorn, and that can make you seek a higher truth. And when I look at the spiritual message, which is that kind of higher truth, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Now this card is all about, you know how they say a change in fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is all about the idea that we have different cycles in life, and it's connected to Jupiter. So there is that sense of you can always have luck come back into your life if you feel like you've been on this streak of one thing after the other. And certainly there might be a few Capricorn individuals, especially in the last few years, because you had, for a while, you had Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn. And that has to be a bit challenging, because these planets are challenging. And so even though you're kind of a tough cookie, you might have even been like, okay, when is this going to let up? And you still have Pluto there. Now, Jupiter, which is connected to this card, is in Aquarius. And this is in your second house of earned income. So that's where Jupiter is. Jupiter, that's an important point to make too, is that Jupiter is going into Pisces around this time in the middle of May. And for you, Pisces is the third house, also a friendly angle to you, a sextile, and this is the area of the mind, so it can make your mind more optimistic. You may even get involved in some kind of spiritual study, and of course with the Hermit, you may have been exposed to that as well. And this is the important thing about that, is that it can point to the new cycle in your life. Pisces is not going to stay in, Jupiter isn't going to stay in Pisces all year. It's going to go back into Aquarius, into that second house for a good stretch of 2021, and then go in for good into Pisces at the end of this year. So while it's in Pisces for the next few months, you may be noticing that you're starting to think more spiritually and philosophically than just pragmatically, and that's a good thing, because it means that you're not looking at your life from a simplistic sort of materialistic way. So yeah, now the weed whacker is getting a little closer, so hopefully it won't be too long. What crosses you is the Six of Wands. And the Six of Wands, or I'm sorry, the Six of Swords, it looks like. It's some of these cards, it's hard to see the Wands versus the Swords. Six of Swords is a card of, in the upright position, is a card of like seeking peace. You may have some kind of travel plans that have been postponed. Yeah, you know, the Wheel of Fortune, let me see. I want to check that out. Can mean that there's some kind of like, the Wheel of Fortune can mean that there's some kind of fate that is involved in your life at this time. And with the Six of Swords in the challenge position, you may have a hard time from to abandon negative thoughts, leaving a situation that is troubling behind you. And that's why I was saying, with in the upright position, it means, choosing peace and leaving a stressful situation, if you will, something like that. And so if you, for instance, if you have been separated from a partner and you were, maybe you were traveling or visiting family, and you're coming back to this situation, nothing's changed, but you find yourself back at square one. So some of that is going to be you, like your own thoughts. What are they telling you about life at this time? And maybe you're stuck in a pessimistic mental rut that only you can lift yourself out of. And it starts by accepting the truth that is before you, so that you can make the decision that is best for you. Because the Wheel of Fortune is about, choice and that kind of the twists and turns of fate, the turning point, whatever you want to call it. What is coming in is represented by the Nine of Pentacles. This is a card of independent financial, being independent financially. And so this goes along with any kind of situation where you're not relying on a spouse or even a place of business to provide your sustenance, or your, the money that you use to do things. And this is a card of self-care. Note that we're talking about the number 9, just as we did with the Hermit in the Major Arcana. And this can be that, that self. So this self-care, your, possessions. This can be good for real estate matters. This is another card that can be associated with solitude. And so anything that you are doing, like self-employment, working for yourself, for sure. That's another one. Now, again, if we go back to the first card, we're looking at it from the perspective of betrayal. So someone who maybe even made a sacrifice for an employer, took one for the team, and was, the thanks that you received was getting stabbed in the back, metaphorically. Or, just anything. I mean, it doesn't have to be that dramatic, but it just not getting what you thought you were going to get. But there has to be some kind of disappointment in how you were regarded that gives those feelings of betrayal. And I think that if this is something along those lines, Capricorn, that the Wheel of Fortune as a spiritual message is that, first of all, we can never count on these material things, because there's always, life is always going to involve change. And because these are outer things, they're always going to be temporary and to some extent out of our control if other people are involved. The Hermit is more of tuning into the self and not like relying on the outer world to provide us our sense of peace, But you do have, with the Nine of Pentacles, that sense of material, self-reliance. And that thing, that can be very helpful for alleviating any anxiety that you may be feeling about some of the changes that are taking place in your life. The outcome is the Daughter of Swords, which relates to the Page of Swords. And this is really a card of being, it's funny that they have an owl because it's perfect. Aware of what's going on, the eyes in the back of your head. you are adapting to your environment. You're you know, able to take what happened with the Ten of Swords and kind of think your way out of it. And that is so important for future matters. So that's what I have for you, Capricorn. I hope that this resonated. And if you would like a private reading, I am promoting my double readings, including the double natal chart and transits reading. These are 2 full-length readings for a special price. The link is below for that one. That's called Deep Dive, and I have a whole enchilada. That's a double reading with tarot and astrology and other types of readings. Thanks for watching, and have a great new moon in Taurus. Take care.